Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca Keppel. I'm here for the Magical Memories video hop. I was invited by my friend and fellow crafter Christine Meyer along with Caitlin to take part in today's hop. And I want you to check out their videos for sure. I'll have them linked down below. I know that Christine is also doing giveaways this week, so you'll definitely want to comment and subscribe to my channel, to Caitlin's channel, and to Christine's channel as well. So let's get started. We hadn't been to Disney in years, but I am loving layouts lately with contact photos, and so I wanted to do one of our trip with those tiny little photos. I don't really have any Disney themed materials except for this die, which is Queen & Co, and it's 4 shaker cards. So I pulled together some color coordinated items from Queen & Company and from Doodlebug Designs that are red, yellow, and black. And I also have some white cardstock. So this layout is all going to be about scrapbooking your Disney photos without having a Disney themed collection to work with. So I took a 12 by 12 piece of black cardstock, cut it down to 4 pieces, and then die cut 4 of those little Mickey heads out of the cardstock. I'm going to save those other pieces to make shaker cards with. I'm going to use those 4 Mickeys in each corner of my layout, and that will kind of frame my whole page. I'm going to work on the white cardstock. It's white textured cardstock in 12 by 12, and I really like the look of a clean white background and then just add to it with some pattern paper, some more cardstock, and maybe some washi tape. So I've got all my Mickeys laid down, and now I have to figure out exactly how I'm going to lay down those photos. I've cut them out of the contact sheet so they're individual, and you can see that I have different orientations. So I have the horizontal ones, but I also have a couple of vertical. So I'm just playing around with how best to lay them out, try and get them all on the page and keep them kind of organized so that they don't look like a mess. Now I'm going to take my T-ruler right down the middle of the layout, and I'm going to lay down my title. I have some older American Crafts stickers that are black chipboard, and I'm starting with the S and the N right in between the 6 mark line there so that my title is nice and centered. Now I kind of want to make those black thickers a little more fun. So I'm taking what is called rivets from Queen & Co, and there are these kind of like enamel dots, but they're flatter and they're matte. And I'm putting one on each letter in the white, yellow, and red. Now I'm going to take the washi tape, and this is Queen & Co, and I'm going to run it right along the top. My first idea was to make an entire frame all the way around the page. And I'm just going to lay the washi tape right at the top and the bottom, and then just tear it and then fold it behind my layout. And I really like the way these dots look. I think they add a real playfulness to an otherwise just plain white background. So you can see I looked at the yellow on the side there, and I just didn't like it. I kind of like a little bit of the white. This is going to be more of a clean and simple layout. And since we have all the photos, I think that's best because it doesn't compete too much with all those tiny little photos that have really a lot going on in them. I mean, there's character photos, there's a bunch of faces, so it's nice to still leave a lot of the focus on those photos. So now I'm just laying down the Mickeys again, and I decided that I definitely like the way it is with the red just at the top and the bottom, and then the Mickeys in the 4 corners. So I'm going to use my Thermoweb Memory Runner XL. It's just a tape runner. It's my favorite tape runner, and I'm going to lay those down right on top. And once I have that all done, then I'm ready to start figuring out how the rest of my layout is going to go. And you can see those Mickeys, they have an edge on 2 sides, so it's really easy to line them up in the corners. Okay, so the next thing I'm going to try and do is once again sort of line up my photos. I realize I may have too many here, so I'm going to have the same type of layout on the top and the bottom. So I have one at the tippy top, and then I have a horizontal, vertical, horizontal. Then I have my title. Then I have the same thing down below, except for I have extra space for 2 horizontal photos down there. I'm going to take that pattern paper that I hadn't used yet and I'm going to punch out some circles. I have 3 yellow circles and then I'm going to punch out 3 red circles as well. I like to do things like this in threes because it's easy to move the eye around the page if you use those visual triangles and do things in thirds. So once I have 6 of those circles punched out, I'm going to try and figure out where to lay them down. And I realize I don't have a lot of room other than on the sides. So I'm just going to play with one of the circles on each side kind of falling off the page. And I think, again, that adds kind of a whimsical look. Before I forget where I want these circles, I'm going to adhere them down real fast. I tend to, if I really need to do other things, I'll take a phone photo of my layout in process to make sure I don't forget where everything goes, because I've had so many times where I go back to adhere things down and I don't like the way it looks anymore. So now I am really happy with where everything is laying down, and so I'm going to adhere the photos. And I'm going to use the same tape runner to do that. This is pretty easy to line up because I'm using that midpoint that we created with the title with the S and the N. So the mid photo in the 3 is going to go right by that, and then the other 2 kind of line up right under that mid photo. So this was really easy just to eyeball, honestly. And I think it doesn't have to be perfect. With the different sizes of photos, and even the edges are slightly thicker or thinner because I just cut them with my trimmer, it can be kind of whimsical. Now I'm going to flip my layout over and use some non-stick scissors to cut off the rest of the circle. Non-stick because I did have some adhesive on one and it would have stuck to my scissors. I'm going to go around and cut the corners of the layout to go along with the Mickey head there, because I didn't like the way that the red was poking out behind the black paper. So now I kind of have rounded corners to my layout, which I haven't done in a long time. So that's sort of fun. And last but not least, I'm going to grab some buttons. These are from Queen & Co. and it's kind of a mixed assortment of one color. So you get all these yellows, but there's some with stars, some with stripes, some are opaque, some are translucent, some are glitter even. That one has a little star on it. So these are really fun. They add a lot of dimension and some color. And I'm just going to put one coordinating one on each circle. So a yellow on the red circle and a red on the yellow circle. And to adhere these, I'm going to use Thermoweb Zots. These are great. You just lay the button or the embellishment chipboard, whatever it is, down on top of the Zot there on that release paper, and then peel it off, and you've got the Zot stuck to the back, and then it's just a kind of peel and stick where you've created a sticker out of your embellishment. So I really like using those to adhere things like this. You don't have to use the liquid glue, and you don't have to wait for it to dry, which is really nice too. I didn't want to do journaling, so I thought I would do some stamping with an Amy Tangerine roller date stamp from American Crafts, and I'm using Versamark ink to stamp that. And you're going to see here I changed the phrase between the first stamp and then the second stamp. And on this second stamp, guess what? I kind of messed up and it didn't stamp all the way. But you know what? I like the look of the double stamp. I think it's really cute, especially if it's in one place like this. Again, I'm going to have that visual triangle of stamping in 3 different spots. It's going to move the eye around the page, and so I'm really okay with the one stamp that wasn't perfect. And that is my layout of Disney memories using non-Disney products. So I want to make sure that you stop by Christine and Caitlin's videos today and definitely leave comments. If you could subscribe down below, you'll also get entered into Christine's giveaways that she has going this week. I want to thank you so much for stopping by today. Have a great day.